Hey guys, Brad here. I got a couple projects I need to knock out today, and the first thing I want to do is get my generators ready. Got our first kind of winter storm coming this weekend, so make sure I've got the oil changed and get those things tuned up, gassed up, and ready to go in the event we lose power. So let's get started. I just want to get that up off the ground so I'm not crawling around on the floor. I can sit on a stool and drain that oil out. This is a Westinghouse Dual Fuel generator. I use this to run the whole house. I've got electric well, electric stoves, electric heat pump and AC. And I haven't tried to use the AC or the furnace yet, but I have run the well. I've run everything else in the house without any issue on the gas. I've tested on propane. I haven't run anything on the house on propane yet. I've got a couple large tanks in the event that I need to. And this is going to be the first service. It's a pretty new generator for me, so I need to get the oil changed. I imagine it's going to be pretty nasty. A lot of times these small engines will put off some small metal shavings in that first couple oil changes, so that's really the reason why you want to do those pretty early on and not let that oil sit in there for too long. So that's what we're going to do. Let's get started. All right, 1/2 inch socket there. While that's draining, I guess I can show you a few things on this. Westinghouse does a really good job with their generators. This is the second one I have from Westinghouse. I have a small inverter generator as well that I use for just working out in the yard, or I can hook my camper up to it and run everything on that. This is the whole house generator. It's dual fuel. We've got a couple of 120 volt plugs. You actually have 4. You've got a 30 amp plug. That'll feed, and you can feed that to a panel, or a lot of times people use that for their campers. And then you've got the 240 volt 50 amp. That's what I plug into that feeds my panel and runs everything in the house. It's got push button start. It's got an hours meter on it. It's easy to switch from gas to propane. It's actually got a keyless start as well. Pull start as a backup. Absolutely love this thing. It's a workhorse. We got Satyr Dog inspecting the oil change work. What do you think so far, Sadie? I think she's less than enthused with this project. I'll stick that can under there instead to let that finish. I feel like holding that oil jug the whole time. That's the normal drain plug. They actually sell a magnetic version. It comes with a magnet on there. And what that does for these small engines, it's actually a great idea. I'm planning on buying one here soon. But any of those little metal shavings that come off of the inside of the engine, just through normal wear and tear, or especially during the break-in period, they'll stick to that magnet. And instead of getting drawn up into your engine and scoring everything, they'll stick to that. So when you change your oil, it'll take care of all those metal shavings for you. All right, we got just about all the oil out of there. You got a slow drip. I'm gonna call that good enough. wipe off your drain plug before you put it back in there. All right, this should take just over a quart. I use just conventional 10W30. I change this every probably 30 hours of use, so unconventional is good enough for that. All right, we're not reading it yet, so probably need about another half quart. We're almost there. All right, looks good to me. One thing I like to do is write down the hours so I know when I change the oil. So I'm gonna open up the garage door. I guess I gotta get this started first in order to check the hours. So. Push button. Guess it'd help if I turn the fuel on. Alright, so I'm just going to wire tie that on there so that I know the date and the number of hours I changed the oil, so I don't have to try and find my notes that I wrote down and lose a couple days from now. Let's get this thing sprayed off. And then fueled up, and we can get it outside. You always want to put fuel stabilizer in these generators if you're not using them very often. Keep your fuel fresh and keep stuff from gumming up. And then when I put it in there, I always take it outside and run it for a couple minutes too to make sure I've got stabil in the fuel lines and in the carb. I always like to thank the state of California for destroying our fuel cans, because there's nothing better than standing here for 15 minutes and trying to put 6 gallons of gas in your generator. All right, let's get this outside and run it for a few minutes. All right, this is my inverter generator. This is another Westinghouse Dual Fuel 4500 watt inverter generator. This is nice because you can plug stuff right into it, like your electronics, your cell phones. It's not going to destroy anything. This will actually run my entire 30 amp camper, including the AC unit. So I like taking it with me whenever I'm going camping. It has most of the same features as that larger one. I actually bought this one first. It's a little bit more of a pain in the butt to change the oil on this, but definitely not impossible. It's got this door here, and then your oil access is right there. What I end up doing is I actually just drain it out of the oil inlet there, and it works fine. I actually just discovered something. Maybe this is why you read directions on things. There's a plug right here. Goes out the bottom of the generator. Like that. And then let's see if I can get that socket on there again. It's taking way longer than it should. Alright, well that was a bit annoying. It takes a 10 millimeter. The larger generator was a 1/2 inch, so I don't know why that's the case. Alright, so there's the oil plug. That is a pain in the butt to change that the right way. Alright, well, it was a pain in the butt changing that oil the right way, but it is the right way, so probably the correct thing to do. Let's try and get that plug back in there. Alright, let's fill her back up. This mod only takes about a 1/2 quart, as opposed to just over a full quart of that larger one. The one thing that's a pain in the butt, aside from changing the oil, is getting this oil cap back on, the dipstick back in. These plastic threads just don't want to play nice with the aluminum threads in here. So sometimes looks good to me. one of the really cool things about this generator is it's super quiet because it's an inverter generator. It's also got the self-start. It's got the 30 amp 120 volt plug, a couple of regular 20 amp 120 volt plugs as well, gas and propane. So let's get this started. This is why it's important to run and test these things once in a while, because you don't want to be in the middle of a power outage, especially when it's cold, and be fighting everything. There we go. Everything lit up. This one actually has an electronic fuel gauge on it. It's got the electronic hours meter. It tells you your load that you have on things and your runtime. So right now it says 21 hours of runtime. Let's try that again. That's not good. There we go. Alright, this has 42 hours on it, so I'm going to write that on my tag and stick it on there. And then let this run again, get some of that old gas out, and get some stable in the fuel lines in the car. I'm going to show you real quick how nasty that oil is in there, just from about 20 hours of runtime on that small generator. Alright, we got both of those oil changed, fresh gas and stay bill ready in case the power goes out this weekend. We're going to let them run for a few more minutes, get some of that stay bill in the fuel lines, and then get them cooled down, pulled back in the garage, and we'll be ready to go.